In 2019, a 26-year-old marketing manager in Austin emptied her $52,000 savings account to buy a starter home. 5 years later, she discovered the financial trap she'd stepped into, and the one number that would have changed her entire decision. Here's what that actually looks like over a lifetime. Most people treat a mortgage as a substitute for rent. You're paying to live somewhere either way, right? Wrong. The moment you sign a 30-year mortgage at 25, you're not just buying a house. You're making a 40-year bet that real estate beats the stock market, and historically, that bet loses. Let me show you why the conventional wisdom here is quietly expensive. Let's start with the down payment itself, $50,000. That's the number that feels like sacrifice, like discipline, like you finally made it. But here's the part nobody puts in the spreadsheet, and I'll show you exactly what it costs in a few minutes. $50,000 sitting in a house is $50,000 not compounding in the market. That difference alone will shock you before this video ends. Now add the mortgage on top. A $200,000 home with 20% down means a $160,000 loan. At today's average rate of 7% on a 30-year fixed, your monthly payment is roughly $1,065. That feels manageable. But here's the trap, and I'll come back to this with a number that actually surprised me. Over 30 years you will pay $665,000 in interest alone. Not principal. Just interest. The bank collects more than 4 times your original loan in pure profit from you. Now let's talk about what renting actually costs compared to owning, because most people get this calculation completely wrong. The average rent for a comparable property in a mid-tier U.S. city runs about $1,200 a month. Ownership total costs, including mortgage, insurance, property tax, and maintenance, average closer to $1,900 a month on that same property. That's a $700 monthly gap, and that gap is investable cash. Wait until you see what that $700 does when we get to the compounding section. There's one detail in here that flips the whole argument entirely, and I'll mark it exactly when we get there. But first, let's talk about what happens to your $50,000 down payment when you don't lock it in a house. At 8% average annual returns, the S&P 500's 30-year historical average per S&P Dow Jones Indices, $50,000 becomes $1.4 million in 40 years. Not a typo. $1.4 million. That's the opportunity cost of your down payment alone. The math doesn't lie, and the math here is brutal. Let's layer in that $700 monthly difference between renting and owning. $700 a month invested at 8% for 30 years grows to $1.06 million. So between the down payment opportunity cost and the monthly savings opportunity cost, the renter-investor is looking at over $2 million in wealth potential that the 25-year-old buyer quietly surrendered on closing day. And if you think this is bad, the next section is worse, because we haven't talked about what the house itself actually returns. Real estate appreciation averages about 3 to 4% annually before inflation, per the Federal Reserve's long-run data. After inflation, the real return on a primary residence is closer to 1% per year. Compare that to 8% in equities and you're losing 7 percentage points of return every single year your money is trapped in walls and a roof. Meanwhile, the stock market kept running. Before I show you the way out, I have to show you the trap one more time. This is the turning point in the whole argument. Run the actual numbers side by side and the picture is undeniable. $50,000 invested at 8% for 40 years, $1.4 million. A $200,000 mortgage at 7%, $665,000 in interest alone. The real price of the house was never on the listing. The real price is the return you surrendered to pay that interest. That is $500,000 in wealth transfer from your future self to a bank. Now here's what the wealth-building winners actually do, and the data backs this up. They rent until roughly 30. They invest aggressively through their mid to late 20s. They build a portfolio before they build equity. And when they buy with accumulated capital, less leverage, and a compounding cushion already running in the background. By the time they sign a mortgage, compound interest is already working for them, not just for the bank. Stick with me. By the end, you'll know exactly what to do with this information, whether you're 25 or already a homeowner. So what does the actual portfolio look like for the renter-investor versus the early buyer? Let's map it out concretely. The renter maxes out a Roth IRA, $7,000 a year as of 2024, plus invests that $700 monthly savings difference. Over 5 years, before they ever buy a house, they've built a $150,000 invested portfolio. The early buyer has equity, probably $20,000 to $30,000 of it after 5 years of payments, mostly absorbed by interest. The gap is already enormous at year 5. Now let's accelerate to age 55. Here is the number the hook promised you. The renter then buyer, someone who waited 5 years, invested first, then bought at 30, arrives at 55 with approximately $2.1 million in total assets. That includes the house, now substantially paid down, plus the compounded investment portfolio running in parallel. The 25-year-old buyer who went straight into the mortgage arrives at 55 with approximately $1.2 million, mostly house, mortgage finally paid off, investment portfolio thin because discretionary income was eaten by housing costs for 3 decades. That is a $900,000 difference. One decision at age 25. Compound is the only free lunch, and the early buyer gave theirs away at the closing table. Let's make this concrete with the actual action plan so this video pays off for you right now. If you are 25 with $50,000 saved, do not let social pressure turn your capital into concrete. Park that $50,000 in a low-cost index fund. Rent for 5 years. Max your Roth IRA every single year. By 30 you could have a $150,000 portfolio and you can buy a house without destroying your compounding engine. If you're already a homeowner in your mid to late 20s, your path is not broken. The math is harder from here, but it's not impossible. Every raise, every bonus, every windfall, invest it before lifestyle inflation eats it. You're recapturing the opportunity cost one lump sum at a time. The goal is to own the house and the portfolio, not one at the expense of the other. Broke is a math problem, and so is the solution. The numbers we walked through today aren't theory, they're 30-year Federal Reserve return data, actual mortgage amortization math, and S&P 500 historical compounding. The 25-year-old who runs this calculation before signing a mortgage walks away with nearly $1 million more at retirement than the one who didn't. That's the real adulting move. Drop a comment below. Are you Team Rent and Invest or Team Buy Now? I read every single one, and I want to know where you're at. If this math changed how you're thinking, subscribe. We break down exactly this kind of hidden wealth math every single week. Now go build it. See you in the next breakdown.